When I'm preparing for an emergency, I have to consider things that specifically my condition makes more difficult than, say, an average person.
I have a daughter with very significant medical and physical challenges. When an emergency arises, we jump full blown.
I have limited use or capabilities with my left arm and my left egg.
I'm very worried that if we're in a hurry, it's going to be very difficult to have him move.
Hi, I'm Robert. I'm a paralyzed quadriplegic. May of 1986, I broke my neck when I was 13. Now I'm paralyzed from about the chest down, and I have partial use of my arms, so that's why they call me a quadriplegic. And depending on others for daily activities that normal people take for granted. When I'm preparing for an emergency, I have to consider transportation. Also the place where I'm going. I gotta make sure it's accessible, and I have to make sure my aid is prepared as well. For transportation on a normal day, since I don't like to drive, I usually use what they call handy ride or paratransit. For emergencies, it's best to have your personal own vehicle for many different reasons. You can put your equipment in it, you can leave the area very easily, and it's just better all around for that. About 2 days before Isabel came up the coast, I started looking at hotels in the area that had accessible rooms. When I'm looking at a hotel, accessibility, most of them have ADA compliant rooms, but that does it to let them know what your needs are. That way they can best accommodate you. And I have to make sure my aide is prepared as well, and her family. Make an agreement that she will either go with you if you need her, or if you, or at least check on you if need be. But you have to keep in mind that during emergencies, she may not be able to get to you. So it's best for you to stay close to their aid if all possible.
Robert is a part of our family, and if there's an emergency, you take care of him the same way you would take care of a family member. We would prepare all of his emergency supplies, including anything he would need medically, medications. I mean, I would have to evacuate myself if it was that serious. So, I mean, it's almost nothing at all to have him with us. I mean, he's like part of the family, so it's the same as if I was evacuating by myself.
If you don't plan ahead for an emergency, you wait till the last minute, and if you have special needs, you become, you put yourself at more of a risk than a general population.
Hi, I'm Sandy. I have a daughter named Felicia. She is diagnosed with a neuromuscular disorder and has very significant medical and physical challenges. She's non-ambulatory, uses a wheelchair for mobility. She's nonverbal. She uses a communication device very successfully.
My name is Felicia.
She has a lot of skilled needs on a regular basis. She's dependent on somebody to help her with all of her daily living tasks. Felicia's favorite things would be playing on the computer. She loves to go on her swing outside. She loves to be in control. As long as she can be controlling whatever she's doing, she's happy as a clam. Trying to be prepared with a child like Felicia takes a lot. Her room is kind of set up like a hospital room at this point. We're very dependent on many things like power and equipment, refrigeration, medications, all kinds of things that we have to make sure that we never run out of. Doing emergency preparedness takes a lot to think about with her. We'd like to think we're prepared for an emergency. We have a generator for backup power, but one of the most important things I think we did was make sure that we have an emergency kit. I think it's important that everyone prepare and get a kit, put it together. Their kit should always include water, food, first aid type of items, flashlights, radios, extra batteries to be sure that those things are running all the time, extra tools, clothing, bedding. Having that kit will allow you to be prepared to withstand that situation, whether it be a storm or hurricane, without power, stores closing for a few days. Life with a child with very significant needs takes a lot more than the daily living with another child, especially when they're dependent on all of their daily living tasks. Having a child with special health care needs, it's all about being prepared.
I'm Jennifer.
Hi, I'm Roland.
And although we're a regular family with a normal routine, when it comes to an emergency, we have obstacles that we have to think about.
Yes, I'm a stroke survivor after, this is going on 4 years now, and I have left hemiplegia on the left side of my body, so I have limited use or capabilities with my left arm and my left egg.
And when it comes to an emergency, we really have to look in advance at some things that we have to prepare for. A typical morning of going to work can be really tight. Doing range of motion with the arm so it doesn't get stiff. Then I have to clean up the CPAP machine, which is the machine during the nighttime that supplies oxygen when he sleeps. I have to change the nozzle on that and make sure it's full of water. I do have to make sure that he has the medication to take. So I check bottles to make sure that we have enough supply. I would only worry sometimes when the rain it gets really bad and the streets in Norfolk flood awfully bad. And sometimes there was one instance where I had trouble getting out of Norfolk just onto the interstate because I'd turn down and the street would be flooded and I'd have to turn around and try a different street. Not only do we have the challenges with our family here, but I also worry about my dad and his challenges with Alzheimer's. When we go somewhere, he takes about 3 steps and then he'll stop because he forgets where he's going. And I'll need to have to prompt him to get him to keep moving a little bit. So I'm very concerned and have to think in advance about how am I going to be able to move him along in case of emergency. One of the important things that I have realized is to stay informed, whether it's rain and flooding and hurricane or something else of disaster. I try to stay informed by watching the weather on TV or watching the news on TV and getting on the internet when I can, try to follow the Weather Channel just to make sure that everything is fine. If the electricity goes out, we actually have a battery-operated radio on the shelf.
And if you have a radio, a battery-operated radio, these are a few things you can do to keep you safe during the times of hazardous events.
Because of the special needs that we have, that I have to stay informed and stay ahead of what's going on.
Huracanes, inundaciones, un ataque terrorista. Estos son solo ejemplos de los desastres que pueden ocurrir en Hampton Roads. ¿Está usted y su familia preparados? Cuando emergencias como estas ocurren, no hay tiempo para pensar qué hacer en ese momento. Hay que estar preparados. Pero si usted o alguien en su familia tiene necesidades especiales, es mucho más importante planear por adelantado. Recuerde que usted, su familia y sus ayudantes son la clave para estar preparados. Asegúrese de tener artículos en reserva para sus necesidades personales, especialmente si requiere equipo médico especializado o transportación especial. Recuerde los 3 pasos para estar preparados. Haga un plan. En primer lugar, asegúrese de tener un plan de comunicación entre usted y su familia o ayudantes. Discutan la posibilidad de quedarse en su casa o de evacuar basados en la situación en que se encuentren. Recuerde de tener una persona como contacto de emergencia fuera de la ciudad. Usted puede recibir información de la oficina local para el manejo de emergencias e inscribirse en el registro de necesidades médicas si usted o sus familiares tienen necesidades especiales. Prepare un equipo. Prepare un equipo de emergencias con los suministros necesarios para que usted, su familia o ayudante se sostengan de 4 a 7 días sin electricidad o agua potable. Prepare un equipo para su hogar y otro pequeño para llevárselo en caso de evacuar su casa. Finalmente, siempre manténgase informado sintonizando las noticias locales en su radio o televisor, así como visitando sitios en la internet con información útil. Estando informado, le permitirá a usted y a sus ayudantes tomar las mejores decisiones antes de un desastre. Para información en inglés y cómo inscribirse con el registro de necesidades médicas de Hampton Roads, visite www.hrspecialneeds.org.